Your CTI accounts, so you have one account with them at the moment? Is it one main account? Or do you have, yeah, one main account. Okay, and what value is that account?
100K.
100K.
For the 100K, I invested something like $400, and then you get rewarded with an account of 100,000, which for most people, including me, it's impossible to trade with your own money.
Yeah, absolutely. You earned yourself 10 grand last week, and you know that for a lot of people, I think some people out there that might be a year's wages, but for a lot of people, you know, certainly in the UK, that's kind of 4 or 5 times what somebody might earn in a month, and you've earned it in a week, sat at your computer, drawing a few lines on a chart. You came across CTI. What made you choose CTI over other brokers or other prop firms? Do you mind me asking what your biggest payout has been?
I'm still waiting for it in the bank account,
We are joined today by Vasil, a professional Forex trader from Bulgaria, who has shared with me today his story and his journey in becoming a fully funded trader with CTI. Through the highs and the lows and the wins and the losses, he talks us through the steps that he took to become a funded trader to now receiving his biggest payout, and a payout which I think has surpassed any monthly earnings he's ever earned in his life. At one point, Vasil quit trading altogether to move into hospitality and then came back to it. And it's a good example that I think will resonate with a lot of traders of how we don't give up on trading and we continue to work on our strategy to make sure that we are eventually getting to those goals that we have in mind. And you know, I really enjoyed this conversation. I really enjoyed the chat. He's a really lovely guy, and I hope you can learn a lot from him, as in a lot of what he talked about resonated with me in my own journey. We hope to be bringing more of these conversations with you, and if you have enjoyed this one or you took something from this video, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can catch us on the next one. Okay, so I'm joined today by Vasil. Vasil, you're joining us today, a CTI trader. Thank you very much for your time today. How are you?
Very well, Chris. Nice to be here.
Good. So today we're going to find out a little bit about you and your kind of experience trading and your journey through your trading, and just show some of our subscribers and some of our members within the team, you know, a little bit about you and how you've got to where you are. So let's start by just going through the basics. So talk to me a little bit about how you got into trading.
All right. First, I discovered trading maybe 10, 15 years ago. Very briefly, a very emotional and memorable experience, not a positive one, as you can imagine. I tried trading just randomly as pure gambling, no stop losses, no research, nothing. So it was going well for a while, and then I lost everything. Luckily, it was a small account. Then I had my regular jobs. I was in hospitality for maybe 10 years or so. And then around 2020, when COVID hit, I thought that I needed some side income, that I needed to become independent, just not to be my own man, be my own man, not to work for everybody. This was always my dream, and I was always looking for a way to do it, make it happen. And I thought the trading is going to do it for me. So I started reading a lot, watching a lot of videos. I was lucky enough to discover a couple of good mentors. I completed an online course with a great American guy, Conquer Trading and Investing. Maybe some of the viewers have encountered him on the YouTube. And I started from there. First, it was swing trading. Then I discovered another guy called Trade Talk channel on YouTube. He was day trading and scalping. So I tried to mix both strategies, added a little bit from myself. And this is how I got here. I started trading on my own accounts, blew several small accounts, and maybe 4 months ago, around May, I discovered CTI. I decided to give it a shot. I did a very good research. I researched maybe 15 companies or so, and I decided that CTI is for me. And for the last 4 months, I've been with them. And yeah, that's how I got here.
And so was there a particular moment? So what were you doing before you started trading then? So you kind of had a dip into trading originally. So what was that moment that took you to trading? So, the first time you got into trading, was it something that you were told about by friends or family? Was it, something you saw on the internet, on social media? How did that very first step into the trading world happen? I remember for me, I remember being sat on Instagram and seeing one of these get rich quick kind of Instagram traders, one of these guys saying, follow my signals. You pay £40 a month, follow these signals, and you can earn however much, 10%, 20%. I think it was pips. I remember it all being pips when I started, and being amazed by this. What are pips? And wanting to find out a little bit more about this. And then that was for me. But what was it for you that kind of got you into it? Do you remember that moment that got you into trading?
Yeah, originally, actually, I was looking for a job, and just by pure chance, there was a Canadian company that was recruiting people with no experience doing day trades
Okay.
and scalping. So this was my first experience. I was there for maybe 2, 3 months. I learned the basics. I would say follow the charts. The boss was a pretty open guy, so he taught us a little bit.
So they
Uh,
were they taking on kind of brand new trade, like people that
yeah,
never been trading, kind of
this
taking
was
on?
the idea. This was
Wow.
their idea. Just people with zero experience,
Yeah.
blank sheets.
Wow.
So,
Why would you do that? Why would you do that over just, I mean, taking somebody like me who's got 5, 6 years experience now? Why would you take a brand new trader and not somebody who's been doing it for a while?
I think there are many companies that would do this
Okay.
because when you are an experienced trader, then you have your fixed ways. And it's
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah, that's
change
fair.
your style, hard to teach you new things. When it's a blank sheet, when you don't know anything, then it's much easier. I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe this
fair.
was okay. They test you, so they give you a week or whatever. If it's not for you, then you leave, and then it's the next one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
fair. Fair. And so
and I don't think you need to have any particular experience
no.
in order to become a good trader. You
Yeah, it's
can
almost
come
like an
from
apprenticeship.
yeah, you can come from any background.
Yeah.
Uh, but for
And
me, yeah, the I've always had affinity towards risk. I don't know. All
okay.
my life, I was drawn to risk. I used to play a lot of poker when I was
I was
younger.
gonna say, have
Um,
you ever done gambling? I think that's a
yeah,
really common trait. It's a really common trait in traders is that most of them at some point have had some sort of gambling addiction. I'll hold my hands up.
yeah.
I used to sit at home on my computer in my parents' house, and I used to sit on like roulette machines to the point where I had like a little roulette. I don't know how to call it. It was like a roulette bot. It was like an EA, okay, but
Okay.
for roulette machines. And you'd spin the roulette wheel and you put in what number would come up. And after a while, it'll tell you where to put your next bet. But I think a lot of the traders that I've spoken to, at some point in their life, they've had some sort of either gambling addiction or they don't want to admit that they've had a gambling addiction or something similar.
Yeah, and it was actually, I think, very useful for me because it made me I don't know. I can handle risk actually and losses.
Yeah,
So I'm not very disappointed or crushed when I have a big loss in
no,
absolute value in money or
yeah.
whatever. I've lost so much that it just programmed me, and
You get
actually this
used
is
to it.
very helpful now
Yeah,
in trading. Just with poker, it was very difficult for me to have a system and to channel to make it not gambling because
yeah,
poker I know a lot of people that actually are making good money from
yeah.
poker as well in
Yeah,
a
it's
similar
definitely
way,
doable. I mean, it's
just
like anything,
managing their
isn't it?
risk.
You find an edge and you play out that
Yeah,
edge. It's the same as trading. They are very, very similar. I think, trading's different, obviously, because we've got an analytical side to it where we can, add analysis and probability. It's not as random, I suppose, when we're trading, which is, I think,
mm,
why, again, a lot of people who have been into gambling in the past will end up in some sort of trading, whether it's stocks or Forex or things like that. It's quite a common trend for people to go from one to the other.
easy
Um,
transition.
so you had your first experience of trading, then do you say you went into the hospitality industry afterwards?
Hospitality, then I was in sales for
Yeah.
maybe around 5 years
What
up
were you
until
selling?
2020. Different things. First of all, I worked for a Bulgarian company that sold climbing walls all
Okay.
around the world. Yeah. and then in a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
But as I told you, all my life I was drawn to being my own man, to not work for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever a very good worker. I just really this was my ultimate goal, and I thought that trading could give me this. It combined elements like risk, which I really enjoyed, economics, politics that I enjoy following as well. It gives you flexibility and freedom as well,
Yeah.
which was really key for me.
Yeah.
Uh, just I didn't know that it's going to be really hard. That's the part that I didn't know in the beginning.
And so what turned you from kind of being a full-time employee back into trading? Was there a particular moment again that took you out of trade or out of employment and then into trading?
Yeah, I was really thinking about doing it, but just the final step, I didn't know exactly when to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But just at one point, my last employer just we had a fallout, so they fired me from the company,
Okay.
and this was the final straw for me. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, this is enough. For 1.5 or 2 years, I think I was a pretty decent worker. I was doing everything that I could for the company, let's say. And then at the end, they just like this for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, they decide and they fire.
Right.
So I said, okay, enough. This is not for me. I tried to make it on my own. In the beginning, I had some side jobs. I still keep some of them. Like I'm an English teacher part time.
Oh, amazing.
This was helpful in the beginning with my expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm helping also one of my friends with who has an online shop as well. But this is also helpful for my trading. I
Yeah.
discovered that if you are over trading, if you are, for me at least, if I'm constantly in front of the screen, I get tired and I am prone to more mistakes. So the less time I spend in front of the screen, I'm actually more productive,
Yeah.
at least for me.
And so how long ago was that then? So how long ago was it that you lost that job?
Uh, it was in the autumn of 2020, but
Okay.
I already have started investing some of
Yeah.
my savings, especially in Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Yeah.
which was a great time actually.
Yeah,
Beginning of
definitely.
2020 was an awesome time.
Definitely. If I could go
Uh,
back pre-COVID and put a big chunk of cash into Bitcoin and Ethereum,
yeah,
I
I
might not be
need
sat here.
to yeah I need to say thank you to this guy from Conquer Trading and Investing,
Yeah.
Jordan. This is when I started following him,
Yeah.
and he was really promoting and explaining how investing in especially Bitcoin would work.
Okay.
So he pointed me in this direction, and actually this helped me build some capital,
Yeah.
which most of it then I lost trying to learn how to
Yeah.
trade. But at least, yeah, at least I had some backup
Okay. Okay. So
when it
you started
started.
learning trading through, was it Conqueror FX, you used to call them?
Conquer trading and investing.
Conquer Trading and Investing.
It's actually again the abbreviation CTI,
it is,
which is
yeah.
funny. Yeah,
CTI, there you go.
yeah.
It's meant to
But
be.
a
Meant to be,
different
Vasil.
CTI. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they taught you, did they teach you the strategy that you're still using today?
Uh, no, not
No?
really. Originally, actually, he is doing a lot of swing trading.
Okay.
He doesn't do any day trading, I would say. So he tries to catch longer trends
Okay.
and turning points in the market. This was my original strategy, let's say, that I was
Okay.
using on my smaller accounts, and it was working actually pretty well.
Yeah.
But the return was not sufficient for me, especially on small account. Maybe I was doing around I did it for about a year, and my return was around 33% for
Okay.
the year.
I mean
But on a very
that's
small,
not bad.
not bad at all. I'm not
That's more
saying,
than if you just put your money in the S&P or
yeah,
any
yeah.
kind of other long-term thing. That's not bad. I think there's lots of traders out there right now that would actually be pretty happy with that. So is this what formed the foundation of how you're trading currently? Would you say that this is the kind of the basis of what you're doing now?
This was the basis for
Yeah.
sure. He taught me support, resistance levels, key market points,
Yeah.
basics of psychology,
Yeah.
a lot of very important things. And then a guy that used to trade with him on his channel called Trade Talk, he is his name. He opened his own channel, and he's
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of day trading.
Okay.
He was using a lot of supply and demand
Yeah.
zones. So I combined those two strategies
Okay.
and adjusted them to be suitable for me, let's say.
What did you say his name was?
His name is Heat, and the channel is called Trade Talk.
HEET.
Heath, I think. Heath.
EATH. Ah, Heath. Okay. Really weird because I trade with someone called Heat, and I thought it might be the same guy, but it's not. So we can move on.
All right, all right, yeah. So yeah, and then I adjusted it so that it can play into my own style.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I think most of the day traders, they're trying to catch small, sharp moves,
Yeah.
especially the channels that I followed, maybe 20, 30, 40 pips if they're really
Yeah.
lucky. I'm willing to to have more small winners or
Yeah.
break-even trades, but to
Okay.
catch a bigger one.
Okay.
I
Okay.
try to catch maybe more than 50 pips for sure.
And is
For
there a
the
particular time of day that you're looking to trade? So, we spoke yesterday briefly and we spoke about the fact that you're pretty much primarily a day trader, right?
Yeah.
And is there a particular time of day that you're trading?
I always trade only one session.
Okay.
It depends on my day schedule and my other arrangements during the day. So if I'm free in the morning, I would trade the London session,
Yeah.
and always I'll be there around the London Open because this is when the biggest moves, biggest volume is.
Sure.
But I wouldn't usually enter in a position before 10:30 my time. Let's say 30 minutes after the Open. At
10:30
least
your
30
time.
minutes
So
after the
about
Open.
8:30 then. Yeah, same as me. So I have a pretty strict rule these days where I won't take a trade before 9 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock your time. And I feel like you get that initial volume move out the way, that initial swing out of the way,
Yeah.
or the Judas sweep as ICT calls it. And once that's done, you can often get the way I look at it anyway is I can often get a nice sweep of Asia or something like that be taken out, some liquidity swept, and then you can get into the nice move. And you get a good idea of
Exactly.
direction after that time, don't you?
Exactly. Usually, the beginning, you have a lot of fake moves.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm trying from time to time, if the conditions are right, to enter at the European Open. So
Okay.
I start looking around 1 hour earlier before London Open.
So that's
Then
Frankfurt,
during this
right?
hour,
That's when Frankfurt opens.
yes.
Yeah.
So during this time, if the conditions are right, I would enter and then wait for London Open to go in the same direction as my
Yeah.
position, and then try to catch this initial maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually it's a fake move or whatever,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
try to add to the original position those 5 or 10 minutes.
And then
Not very common.
in terms of what you're looking for, so let's say you've got into your entry, it's 8:30, you've got into your entry, you're into say a sell. Are you holding for that entire session? Are you holding to a particular target? Talk me through how you kind of manage your trade.
It's always target. Especially the first 75% of the position, there is always target for them.
Okay.
The last maybe depends on the position, of course, but the last maybe 20%, I would give them some room to run.
Yeah. And
But
sort of
usually I wouldn't leave anything for the next day because I discovered that this influences my bias the next
yeah,
day. So
yeah. And are you how long are you generally holding your trades for?
it really depends.
Okay.
On average, I would say maybe between an hour and two.
Okay. So quite
Depends,
quick.
but some
You're really kind of in and out then. In the
yeah.
trade, get out quickly. And sort of in terms of
Usually,
returns,
for example, if I have a position open during the London session, I wouldn't keep it open when the New York opens.
you wouldn't. Okay.
Maybe 95% of the time, I wouldn't keep
Yeah.
it because very often, maybe you've noticed when New York opens, there is always direction in the opposite direction
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the trend that has been so far. So
She can be swept out. And so are
yeah,
you looking for a particular return? Are what sort of R or percentage are you getting back per on each trade usually?
my risk per trade is between 0.5 and 1.5%.
Okay.
So I'm looking on average 3x from this.
3x. Okay. Okay.
So
That's a
yeah,
decent return.
yeah. If I get between 1.5, 3.5% per
Yeah.
trade, I'm
Pretty
happy.
good. Yeah.
Happy days
Happy days.
if I
Yeah.
get this.
And
Although last week it was amazing. I've prepared two of my trades from last week
okay.
that were much more than this.
Well, I
But
think that's a really good segue into what we're going to be looking at next, which I think a lot of our viewers will be interested in seeing how you trade and how you set up your trades and how that works. So, from my understanding, we are, as we've discussed, we're primarily a day trader. You trade mainly the German 40, is that right?
German 40 if I'm
Yeah.
doing the London session,
Yeah.
and then the Nasdaq if I'm doing the New York session in the
And what was
afternoon.
quite interesting when we spoke yesterday, I mean, that's kind of differently to me. So you use fundamental analysis, don't you? You use your economics and things like that in your trading. You pay close attention to that, right?
I do, yes, although I would never enter a position purely on fundamental analysis.
Fine.
Um, the entry itself is always on a technical level,
Yeah.
but I really want to be aware of the macro trends and
Yeah.
what's going on in general in the economy.
Well, this is the bit I'm really interested in because I mean, personally, I'm purely technical based, so purely a price action trader. I've got my two sessions, my New York Open and my London Open. I'm looking for very specific things to happen in these times. My way of trading is primarily just a liquidity based trading. I'm looking for liquidity to be taken, a setup to happen, and then that move to run to the next liquidity point in the opposite direction. That for me is the way that I trade. Now, my fundamental analysis is purely from a basis of, well, is there any news in the market today that could either mess up my trade completely, or is there news in the market today that could push my trade in the right direction? So I'm really interested to see how you use it, because I feel like I might be able to learn something from you today and have something that can be factored into my trades. Now, last week was, I think, a good week for a lot of traders. And like you said, a good week for yourself as well. Was there any fundamental analysis that particularly helped you last week, or was it more of a technical week?
Mhm. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that I'm pretty much like you. So my bias and my trading is maybe 10% influenced, 15% influenced by the fundamentals. But
Okay.
I just want to be aware of
Aware
everything
of
that
them.
is
Okay, fine.
going on. Yeah. Uh, okay, maybe there is a little bit of edge if I know that some news is going to affect the market in
Yeah.
some way. But in general, it's definitely on a technical level.
Okay.
If I roll back on last week, I think it was Thursday when they
Mm-hmm.
announced that there might be an Ethereum ETF.
Okay.
This was the macro news, so I thought that this would influence positively risk assets.
Okay,
This
brilliant.
gave me a little bit of edge to think that Nasdaq was going to go up
Yeah.
during this particular day, and I was looking for upward movement.
See, that's
Not
where you're different to me, because when I look at my what's it called? Forex Factory. When I look at my Forex Factory in the morning, I'm looking for USD news. I'm looking for red. And if there's red news, I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to what it is, unless it's FOMC, because FOMC, when Powell gets on that stand, he always messes
gets
things up.
wild.
He
Yeah.
always messes things up. So I stay away. I stay away. But unless it's FOMC, for me, I'm seeing red news and I'm seeing, right, how volatile is this going to be? I don't really care what the news is. And maybe that's naive of me. But what I'm looking for is, how much volatility is this going to add to the marketplace? If I'm at, I don't know, 12 o'clock and the news is coming in an hour and a half's time, how close am I to my stop loss? And that's my kind of fundamental analysis, if you can call it that. It's purely just a case of, is it going to take me out or is it going to take me to my TP? So it's interesting to hear that you actually factor these into, partly an edge. You definitely do use it differently to me. I'll tell you that. I think I need to start using it a little bit better myself personally.
When I started trading, I tried to understand as much as possible about all these news that were coming out.
Yeah.
For example, factory orders. I tried to read as much as possible. What's included? How does it usually influence the market? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Or inflation, or Michigan confidence, whatever
Yeah.
news
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
coming out, especially from US. The other ones, not really. Maybe currently the interest rate decisions and inflation from Europe, but other news, that I follow are mainly US.
Sure.
But I really wanted to understand what's behind each news. And then when the news comes out, I'm starting to think what would other traders or how would they interpret this news?
Yeah.
Is it going to interpret it positively or negatively? Because very often in the market you see a positive news, but actually the market is
Does the
always
opposite.
forward thinking. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it depends on which part of the cycle you are, I would say.
Sure.
With inflation, it was the same. When it was moving higher, maybe 2020, 2021, it was all rosy. It was positive. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
boom for assets. So everything was moving up with inflation.
Yeah.
Then, when inflation was surprising to the upside, this meant that rates were going to increase as well. So there were huge, huge moves
Yeah.
then. I remember that I was expecting one of these news to be a surprise on the upside for inflation. This was 2020, I think, in the beginning when there was this non-stop down move in the risk assets. And I remember that for one 5-minute candle after the news, the Nasdaq was down around 350, 400 points, something
Right.
like this for 5 minutes. And I
Yeah.
was expecting this from before this. So my stop was maybe 15 pips or 20 pips, let's say, room, and then no profit take on the downside. So
Okay.
as soon as it opened, after 3 or 4 minutes, you're 350, 400 points up.
Wow.
Could have been the other way, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the risk
But
you
these
take,
are
isn't it?
really, really rare occasions on which I would use fundamentals and
Sure.
macro analysis in this way.
Well, I think let's get stuck into some charts. I'm really interested in seeing how you trade because it's always very difficult. I think we all do. Look, relatively, we do the same thing. We buy low and we sell high. That's how we make our money. But what's interesting about trading is that there are so many thousands of different ways of doing it, and even if people trade the same strategy, their trading personality for that same strategy is different. So I love this part where we can actually have a look at your chart and see how you do it. So I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to sit comfy, and I'm going to watch as if I'm watching a famous mentor on YouTube. You're going to mentor me, Vasil. You're going to teach me how you trade, and at the end of it, you're going to 5x my profits.
Okay, and you'll give me 15%.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send it you over Bax transfer on Monday.
All right. Agreed. You can pay me in pints as well,
Pay
as we
you in
discussed.
pints. Yeah, that sounds good to me. You come over to the Cotswolds, I'll pay you in pints. That's a great deal.
All right. Let me share my screen. All right. So this is the German 40.
Yeah.
When I start my analysis, I always start on the daily chart. Weekly as well, but the daily for me is where I put my main levels before I look into deeper and smaller intervals. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. As you can see, I don't use any indicators, volumes, MAs, or whatever. For me, the most important thing is opening levels, closing levels of the candles, and where price is manipulated in some way. This is from last week, as you can see here. This is the close of Tuesday, the open of Wednesday. Then we have the open and close of Wednesday and Thursday and Friday as well. This I haven't mapped it because I didn't trade on a Friday. The trade
what
I want
constitutes to a level for you? So it looks like support and resistance, but where and how are you drawing your support and resistance, and why do you draw them like you do?
On the daily, as you can see here, it's mainly the open and close of the daily candles.
Okay. So you're taking an average of, say, a couple of candles, are you? You're kind of placing it where it feels right?
Yeah, as you can see, for example, this one here is the close of the Tuesday and the open of the Wednesday candle.
Sure. Okay,
Then this one is the close of Wednesday and the open of Thursday. This one is a bit different here on the top, you can see. This one over here, as you can see, it was touched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9 times.
So it's clearly a
So
reactive
this is
level.
obviously a really, really huge level.
Yeah, sure.
And then I look at the daily. I can see that the German went into a range over here.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice range that I was training all along. But I actually we didn't know if it was going to break up or down. But this candle over here gave us some clue that there would be a continuation down. Then when on a Thursday, 21st, it broke this big level over here. I can mark it like this. So when it broke this big level,
Mm-hmm.
then on Friday it came back to retest it, as you can see.
Yeah.
But then it couldn't close above and went down. So when I come on a Monday and I look at this, I see, okay, it broke, then it came back, it retested this resistance. Obviously, it's valid, and then the pressure is to the downside for me. And I'm looking for a downside movement from here on. And on the Monday, I was looking for another push up to the same level to retest this level and then try to take my entry from here, moving down.
Okay.
Again, where can I? I'm sorry, but I'm
That's all right.
okay. Yeah. All right. So then we come to the 1 hour.
Yeah.
On the Monday. And this is the 1 hour over here, as you
Mm-hmm.
can see. This is the open.
Yeah.
So you can see that the open pushed exactly to this level.
Yeah.
Okay, it pushed a little bit higher just to sweep all the stop losses or whoever was short and maybe make the people enter moving forward. Then it got rejected and then went straight down. Now on my second chart, I can see it. Okay, so this is the exact moment that I have over here. This is the push up that you saw on the 1 hour,
Yeah.
exactly to this area. And how do I decide the entry? Now here, for me, there are two entries. The first one is a little bit risky. It's on this red candle. So it pushed to this level. Then with the first red candle, it pushed down, it broke the open of the previous green candle and closed below. So this for me is an indication there might be change in direction, change in momentum.
Bearish
Now,
engulfing.
usually, hmm?
Bearish engulfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually what I do at these spots, I wait for the next candle to come back either to the open of the previous green one or to the close of the previous green one. Now this one pushed really fast here. So I said, okay, this is the entry. And from here, your stop loss is really, really easy. It's if it pushes above here, then my stop loss is triggered, and I'm waiting maybe to move next to these levels and try one more time. Maybe it's another fake out. If it doesn't happen here as well, then I'm done for today. This
Okay.
is two trades, maybe around percent and a half loss. Then I'm done for today.
Mm-hmm.
Two tries. But it actually did it. Stopped here, then it moved down, and then it continued down. Now, why this is risky for me is because I have this red candle over here. And this one stopped exactly at the top of this red candle.
Yeah.
And this usually, when this happens, it might mean that this is just a continuation of the trend moving
Sure.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So here it's really, really 50-50 for me. But I was really convinced from, as I showed you from the daily chart from last week, that the momentum was really, really strong to the downside. So on this push up, I did a couple of entries. I usually enter not a full position, but maybe on two or three separate positions,
Okay.
just with a couple of pips difference. Same stop loss though. same stop loss.
And how do you split those? You divide those evenly?
Uh, it depends every time, but usually the first one is the largest, and then a couple of smaller ones.
Okay, fine.
So this was perfect. The retest here of the same zone, and then another push down. Here you can see that it stopped, obviously because of this level.
Yeah.
As I told you, the close of this red candle over here.
Yeah, very reactive.
This is why it stopped here, stalled, and tried to push up again. But all these red pushes down, it showed me that, yeah, it's just ready to break.
Sure.
And on any one of those, again, you could have entered. I didn't add because I had my full position here. But if I wanted to do it, I would definitely have added here.
Okay.
Breaking on this level, because for this is 5, 10, 15, for 20 minutes, we don't see any reactions to the upside from this support.
No.
If this was a strong support, this would have reacted.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Very, very sharply and break this zone. Especially as this is the first hour of trading in London. So a lot of volume, and would have been a sharp move up. So anywhere here, you could have entered as well.
Okay.
And this is what happened then. As soon as I see this first green candle, then I close around 75% of the position.
Okay.
Over here. I leave the rest because of this zone over here. I need to open an hourly or 4-hour to see, but this was probably some broken resistance.
Yeah.
And my stop loss for the rest of the position will be above this one. It never got there. Then there was another push down, and I think on the second push down, I closed the full position.
So Monday was a good day for you?
A huge day, because my stop loss here was really tight. It was about 12 pips or so.
Yeah.
And then my original profit was around 130 pips.
Wow.
120 pips.
Really good. I don't trade Mondays at all. I literally stay completely away from Mondays. I don't trade them at all.
Usually for me as well.
Them.
Yeah. Usually for me as well. But this particular Monday, when I saw the close on Friday, this retesting as you saw here. Sorry. When I saw this retest, and rejection again moving down, I just wanted to be there on Monday.
Yeah, definitely.
I really thought that the momentum was really, really strong, especially as it broke this huge area of support. Came back, retested it, firmed it as a resistance. Then again, push here. It was perfect. Not 100%. It's never 100%, of course. But there was a really high probability there would be a nice push moving down. So I caught this one. This was around 8.5%.
Amazing
for me.
Amazing. And do you have a set target per week?
Right now, no. Because I completed my challenges. I got my funded account. So now I'm just looking for the best possible spot.
Enjoying life.
Yeah, I don't have any...
raking it in, saving up for your Lamborghini.
Yeah, I wish. But the account is with sufficient size, so I don't need to make huge percentages per month to be comfortable and to have a comfortable salary. Right now, my target is the next target on the scaling plan, which is to move to tier 1, which means 4 months consistently profitable above 2.5%.
Amazing.
So this is my target. The next 4 months in total, right? One of the months you could be negative for you, but overall there should be an average of 2.5% profit for these 4 months. This is something really, really helpful for me that I found in the probably other prop companies as well, but here, because you have set rules. When you have your own account, you don't have a max daily drawdown.
No, of course.
So here, the maximum I can lose per day is 4%.
Yeah.
Sometimes on my account, when I get frustrated, when I get into this dark place, I could lose 15, 20%.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. It's really, really terrible for your confidence, psychologically, everything.
Mm.
Even here, 4% for me is a lot. So now this is this was my main problem with my last, because this is my third funded account with CTI. With the last two, that I was really, really excited when I got funded. I was okay. Now, as you say, we're saving for Lamborghini. We are there. The worst part is over.
Sure.
And then I would enter in a small position. I will have a 0.5% loss. Then I'll say, oh, okay, I'll enter with bigger size to like a revenge trading.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then I'll lose 1.5%, and then I'll lose 2, 3, 4, and the account is gone. So now what I'm really trying to do is just to limit my loss per day to up to something that is tolerable, something that won't affect me emotionally, which for me is around 1.5%,
Okay.
up to 2% at most per day.
Can you show us any examples of where you've had any losses and how, with your strategy, you lose? So it looks like you're trading kind of a classic kind of support and resistance strategy, and you're looking ultimately for moves at particular times of the day, which I think is a pretty decent strategy. I think a lot of people, a lot of people will hate support and resistance on the basis that it's kind of seen as old hat and maybe there are better ways to trade. But I think with the right conditions and the right criteria around your trading, support and resistance can be really, really effective. Now, you mentioned about, when we spoke yesterday, you mentioned about you factor in supply and demand in your trading as well. Is that right?
Yeah. It's just something that works for me. I'm not saying that it would work for everybody, but just works for me. And I always try to go with the mentality in the trade that the chances are 50-50. Doesn't matter if you think that this was another problem of mine in the beginning. I was overconfident. You see, confluence of supports, a lot of factors. Everything seems like a perfect setup for a move in your direction. It doesn't happen, and then you get stuck in this bias, and then you say, okay, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit lower, and then the losses keep growing. So now when I enter, I know that it's 50-50. Every time I enter, it's 50-50. It can either go in my direction or not.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not sad or whatever if it doesn't. I'm not hurt because I wasn't right. I don't want to be right. I just want to consistently make money.
Yeah.
And I yesterday as well. I was looking at my dashboard, and actually the percentage of my losers is higher than the winners that I have. Just the absolute size of the losers is much smaller. So I'm willing to take 4, 5, or 6 losers before I take a big one like here, 120 pips, and this covers more than enough for these 6 or 7 losers.
Absolutely.
So this is an advice that I want to give to the others. Just don't want to be right. Just you want to follow your rules and be profitable. Doesn't matter if you're. It cannot be a winner every trade.
Yeah, of course.
There will be losers, so you need to get used to those as well. I want to show you just briefly, if we have time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is Thursday on the US. As I told you, this Ethereum news. I thought there would be some reaction there. And also, as you can see here, this level was pretty decent as well. So here it was touched on the 18th of August, my birthday, actually. Then over here, Tuesday it came, it couldn't close below. Wednesday it came, it couldn't close below. You see, it went down, and then it came all the way up, pushed above this as well. So it was obviously a nice support over here. And then on Thursday, when I came, factoring as well the Ethereum news, I said, okay, maybe this could hold, and we could have another push at least to the open of this previous green candle over here. And this is when I came on the hourly. This is where I used supply and demand zones. So this was a demand zone over here for me, right over there.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, the price pushed to this level, then moved up, then sharply pushed down, but then straight away pushed up.
Yeah.
And then it came again to test it. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 hours it was testing it. And finally, on this hour, this is the New York Open. Look at this huge candle that covered all the last 4 or 5 hourly candles, and it closed above. Really, really strong green candle. So over here, what I was expecting is for price to come back to the open of this hourly candle, or at least over here to the open of the previous red one.
Yeah, with you.
So these were my two areas where I was looking for buys. Actually, it went a little bit lower, but my stop loss was over here, below these two levels, as you can see.
Yeah.
Below these 2 weeks, so it never went there. So here again, I opened a couple of trades.
Okay.
On the 5 minute. Where is it? Is this push over here?
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, lovely trade that.
This one over here.
I can see my own setup in there as well. I would have taken that. If I traded this, I would have taken that. That's beautiful.
Trade to these levels.
Yeah.
Another option that I would have added if it happened, but it never did. So after this green candle on the 5 minute, by the way, I forgot to mention that my entries are 99% on the 5 minute time frame. So I would look on the other time frames, but the entry itself would be on the 5 minute always.
Okay.
And then the targets would be determined on the larger ones.
Sure.
Hour or 4 or whatever. And then here, the first green candle closes, as you can see, above the last red one. So for me, it's a strong indication that we are moving up, that this was just a corrective move.
Sure.
If this wick here on the second green candle came down this level over here, I would have added.
Okay.
100% I would have added. Then add over here with the stop loss below this wick.
Sure.
This is another position, and then you can see what happened on this position. I actually added a little bit more, but just a little bit over here on this consolidation, because it broke above this level. This was a really, really strong resistance. Broke above it, as you can see, and then it consolidated above. So any of these candles could have been the entry. And then another push up. I don't know, I closed most of the positions somewhere over here after 4 or 5 candles up. And this was another around 5.5%.
Amazing.
So last week was really amazing.
Great week for you.
Okay, now I'm showing some highlights. It's not always like this. Sometimes I could have 6, 7 small losses in a row.
What's great to see is that that's you last week. Ultimately, you're not going back weeks or months in time, which I think makes you definitely appear more real to anyone who's watching this. You see a lot of traders online who will ultimately they'll have to go back weeks or sometimes months to find their fantastic trades. But this literally happened last week.
But as I say, I could move back and show you a lot of times when you think, okay, this is a nice setup, but then the price is doing nothing or just stays in a 20, 30 pip range, whatever. But you need to learn. Actually, this is something that I really need to work on. It's a bit difficult for me when I enter, but there is no volume, no push. No immediate push in my direction. Sometimes I would stay a little bit longer in this range. And just wait. But thing is that when the range is like this, then you never know. Could be up, could be down. So it's literally 50-50. Your edge is gone.
Yeah, of course.
Your edge is gone.
That's brilliant.
And for losers, I don't know, any time can be a losing one. For example, okay, here the movement is down. Then the price comes up and it stops here. All right, I try to enter short, but then if the price continued upwards, then I would have taken a small loss, and then I would have tried probably one more time on the next resistance level, a little bit up, and then maybe one more time or whatever. But usually I wouldn't try more than twice a day.
Okay.
I give it always a second try. So if the first time I'm not correct in my assessment, then I give it
Yeah.
another try. If I'm not correct in the second one, then I'm done.
Okay.
It's enough.
Brilliant. That's amazing. So look, you had a really good week last week. You did, by the sounds of it, around 12%, 13%.
Something like this, yeah.
Yeah. And so your CTI accounts, so you have one account with them at the moment? Is it one main account? Or do you have,
Yeah.
one main account.
Mhm.
Okay. And what value is that account?
100K.
100K. Okay. So you jumped straight into the deep end. Love that.
Actually, my first ones were 25K.
Okay.
I had a couple of failures there.
Yeah.
One of them got funded on the
Hmm.
25K. I lost it in the second week, and then
Okay.
I said, okay, let's go deep, as you say.
Yeah.
But it's actually for me a really, really good investment because for these challenges, you are investing, uh, especially with the promotions that they are running,
Yeah.
nothing significant. I mean, for the 100K, I invested something like $400, and then
Yeah.
you get rewarded with an account of 100,000,
Yeah.
which for most people, including me, it's impossible to trade with your own money.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest. Let's just talk about the numbers, which is what we're here for at the end of the day. I think traders love to hear what can be possible. And let's not beat around the bush. You earned yourself 10 grand last week, and that for a lot of people. I think some people out there that might be a year's wages, but for a lot of people, certainly in the UK, that's kind of 4 or 5 times what somebody might earn in a month, and you've earned it in a week, sat at your computer, drawing a few lines on a chart, which is, I know we're being quite reductive in that explanation, but what you've done is pretty incredible, and the art that you've learned of trading is well set you for life, and that's incredible.
But this reminds me of a story. I think about Picasso. He was at an airport, and a guide went to him and said, "Okay, can you draw something for me?" Do you know the story?
Yeah, I've heard this story. Yeah, I love this
Yeah.
story.
So Picasso said, "Yeah, I can draw something for you." So he drew something for 30 seconds and told him, "Okay, I will sell you this for 100,000 or
Yeah,
whatever." The guy said, "But you did it for 30 seconds." Then Picasso said, "Yeah, but it took me 30 years
yeah,
to do it."
30 years to learn it.
It's a little bit the same here. It's not 30 years, but I can say that especially the first 2 years, I would spend um, 8, 10, 12 hours per day
Yeah,
outside my full-time job
yeah,
to learn, to read, to get here. And it's connected with a lot of failures as well.
yeah.
So I accepted that failure is part of success. Probably this is maybe I accepted that this might not be my last funded account.
Mm,
Maybe I will fail again. This is
yeah.
just part of the journey that I accepted, and I'm okay with it.
I think it teaches you so much. It teaches you so much, the patience and the discipline that you have to have through trading, is like nothing you've ever experienced. And that's why I don't think trading itself isn't difficult, but learning to trade is. And I think that's a really important thing to make sure people understand, is that the process to get you to where you are consistently profitable is a really difficult journey. And, I think you kid yourself sometimes into thinking that you know it really, really well, but actually the market, no matter how well you know your strategy or the way the market moves, the market is always there to test you. And I think what makes you a good trader is that ability to have that discipline and sometimes take a step back or understand that maybe the market conditions aren't quite right. I think I would say that there's a massive percentage of traders out there that have profitable trading strategies, but they're not able to manage that strategy when the market conditions are bad. And I would hazard a guess that with most prop firm challenges are lost where the trading conditions are just bad. There's nothing wrong with the strategy. Maybe the
Absolutely.
trader overtrades, maybe the trader revenge trades, but really the market conditions have changed. And I think what the certainly learning curve was me is to understand that when the market conditions are good, it's like the old saying goes, make hay while the sun's shining. And when the market conditions are bad, maybe that's time to take a step back.
It's hard to determine those moments
Yeah,
as well for many
yeah,
people, and it takes practice and
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
It's very humbling experience. What I discovered,
yeah,
you need to forget about your ego. The market is always bigger than you. Doesn't matter
absolutely.
how good you are, how many profits you made last month or whatever. For one day, the market can just
Yeah,
crush you
absolutely.
if you
Absolutely.
believe you're stronger than it.
Definitely. And so you came across CTI. What made you choose CTI over other brokers or other prop firms?
After my research, it was really important for me to have enough room to trade and to test my strategy. And CTI gave me this option. The maximum drawdown is 10% from the initial balance,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't change. So it's not a trailing one, which was really key for me on the challenges as well. So as soon as you move 4 or 5% up, then your maximum drawdown is 15, 20%. And it's quite nice. For many of the other companies, some of them, I guess, they're offering better conditions or whatever, but there is always this trick. You have this trailing like 3% absolute stop out levels,
Yeah.
which for me is insane. It's ridiculous from your absolute top that you've reached.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe that I would never have been able to do it in this way.
Sure.
So this was one of the keys. Then I checked the reviews online, which were quite positive. Not too many negative reviews about the company. And then I decided to give it a shot with the 25K. Everything was really smooth in the beginning. I got my logins quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit the person like this. If I like something or I get used to something and it's working for me, I don't like changes.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried another company. I cannot compare,
Mm-hmm.
but these were the main bonuses for me when I
Good.
started.
Yeah, I think I've been working with CTI for a long time now. So I think maybe 5, 6 years ago, right in the early days of my career, I knew a couple of the guys that worked within CTI. I was quite pally with them. We had a little trading group with them. And they've always been a very open and honest company, which I've been very, look, at the end of the day, I'm an independent trader. Okay. I want to put this out there. I'm not employed by CTI. I don't work directly for them. I'm here, hosting a podcast for them, which is great, but I'm a completely independent guy. And what I've always liked about them is that they are very open and honest with how they work. The thing I love, so I lost a lot of capital with the My Forex funds crash, just between you and me. We don't need to go into how much I lost. Let's just say I lost a lot of hard work and a lot of years of effort and a lot of funded challenges. Let's just put it that way. And what I loved about CTI is how they were one of, if not the only company that came out and put a statement out to say, look, this is how we work, this is what we do, and this is why you don't need to worry about us. Even FTMO haven't done that. And I've always felt that they're a very open and honest company, which is one of the things I think you've got to have a lot of respect for. To put information out there in the in the open world, in the marketplace, or whatever you want to call it, I think is a bold move to do. And you're held to your word, you're held accountable for the words that you say. Which is why companies like My Forex funds have fallen foul to that, telling people they're doing one thing and doing the other. So
Yeah.
I like the morals of CTI. And you're right, the rules that they run on their challenges are very good. They're weighted towards making sure that you're trading the right way.
They offer a lot of education, as far as I know.
Yeah,
I haven't used any apart from one psychology course after the failure that was free, I think, of
yeah,
charge. But I think they can help also a lot of
yeah.
people. So the platform is quite rich
Yeah, they
with
clearly
different
want
people.
profitable traders. At the end of the day, they're not like some second-rate prop firm where they're booking all of their members. Booking all of their traders, taking demo trades and paying all of the profits out of funded failed challenges. I appreciate that that's a part of how prop firms work. There is of course a profitability to traders failing their challenges. Of course there is, because so many traders do fail. But what CTI do that I think is slightly differently to other prop firms is that they actually genuinely want profitable traders, because when you're on live accounts, your trades have been taken live markets, and if you lose funds, you lose their money. And I think that's a great setup to have. And it's the reason why hopefully over the next few years, some of these smaller companies that are doing their dodgy dealings, like My Forex funds, might actually, we might see some of these good, honest companies, coming up from the ranks and and looking
Yeah,
after
and this is why I
traders as
guess
well as
you. Yeah, sorry.
ultimately looking after traders, and we can all grow together, which is it's a nice world to live in. And unfortunately there's lots of sharks out there, I think, who are there just to take your money. But yeah, it's a good place to be, and it's really good to hear as well from yourself, Vasil, and your experience with them. Do you mind me asking what your biggest payout has been?
I just got my payout last week. This was the first one actually from the last
Okay.
funded account. Before or after the profit share?
After, what did you take home? What went into your bank account?
I'm still waiting for it in the bank account, but 8,400.
Woo! Come
Yeah.
on.
So hopefully first of many.
That's a good day. That's a good day.
Let's see.
And what's the
Let's.
process like in terms of releasing funds and things like that? This is your first payout? There's obviously there's a few hurdles you have to go through with prop firms, getting that set up and your contracting and all the bits and bobs. There's lots of moving parts. What was the process like with CTI to get your payout from where the payout was due and you actually got it, or you're getting it through now?
Mhm. Actually, now with the new setup of the website, it's pretty straightforward. You have your dashboard. You need to complete your KYC and also your bank details.
Yep.
Um, then you get the payout in your wallet.
Yep.
Right now, I think there are two wallets, but I think only the USD one is active currently.
Okay.
You get the payout there, and then you request what amount of this payout would you like to be withdrawn. And as I said, I'm at this stage right now, so I'm
Amazing.
waiting for it to arrive in my account, but probably to arrive beginning of this week, as it happened
Amazing.
middle of last week.
Do you have any
So
plans for
pretty
your first
straightforward.
payout?
No, yeah, no hiccups there.
Good. Do you have any
Mhm.
plans for your first payout?
Uh, I'm not
Are you
sure.
going to treat yourself?
Probably, I would say a nice holiday with my wife.
Love that. Love that.
Just because this was one of the keys, I think, for my success. You need to have a partner that believes in
Hmm.
you and doesn't give up on you. Because as I said, I failed many times. I failed many personal accounts, smaller ones, of
Hmm.
course. It's not my jeopardizing my future or my family's future or
Yeah.
whatever, but it was a lot of failure, a lot of challenges that I failed,
Yeah.
getting funded and failed again. I was crushed. I was a little bit depressed. I was feeling down, but she was always there for me, and she was always believing in me, even when I didn't believe in
Amazing.
myself. So she was picking me up and helping me to get here. And in moments like this, you really appreciate
Yeah.
a good supportive partner.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would definitely like to treat her.
I love that. I love
As the
that.
first
Mine's the
one.
same. Do you find that she knows your rules better than you know your rules? And so I had a big thing with trading Mondays. So now I just don't trade Mondays. But before, I would trade a Monday and I would have a loss or I'd have a losing day, and I'd come downstairs and she'd be like,
Mm.
"What's happened?" And I'd be like, I had a bad day trading. She was like, why have you traded? It's a Monday. I'm like, yeah, I know, but there was this really good setup. She was like, how many
Mm.
times have you told yourself not to trade Mondays? But you find that she knows what you shouldn't be doing better than you do. I genuinely think women will make better traders than us because they're much better at handling
Yeah, yeah,
the rules and the regulations of it.
yes,
Any female
yes.
traders that I've come across in my time, they're generally much better with well, why have you done that? You know that this doesn't work, so why have you done that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. For me, it's a bit different because she doesn't know almost anything
Okay.
about it. I share with her my main emotional struggles and in general what's going on, but
Yeah.
she's not. It's not her field. She's not
No,
interested,
fair.
and I don't share. But
It's
she
there for the
knows.
emotional
So
support.
as soon as she sees me, she sees in my eyes. Was it a good day or a
Yeah.
bad?
She knows. She knows straight
Yeah.
away.
With the first question, it's obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the support is invaluable for sure. This is.
Good. I love that. I love that. Well, look, make sure you treat her. Clearly, she deserves it, and clearly, you deserve it as well. Now we're coming to the end of our time today, Vasil. I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been great catching up with you and learning a little bit more about you. And hopefully we can keep in contact as well. I'd love to see your journey as you continue down the path. And maybe you never know, another day we'll jump on we'll have another podcast at one point in the future from your Lamborghini.
Straight
In your
live from
suit made
the
of pure $100 bills. That's what I want. Next time I see you, I want you in a mansion, $100 bill suit from a Lamborghini. Deal?
all right. I'm already humble guy, so probably not a
Fair enough.
Lamborghini,
Fair
but
enough.
some nice location in an exotic place around
Yeah,
the
maybe
world.
from your private island that
Maybe.
you've just bought.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, this sounds better. Sure.
so look, I've got a few questions that I want to ask you, just kind of closing questions. I want you to give me your most open, honest answers for me. Okay. I'm going to go through the questions with you one by one. And then I'm going to ask you a question as well. So a bit of a feature I want to develop on the podcast is where you're going to leave a question for the next person that I interview. Okay. So I'm going to ask you that at the end of it. You're going to leave that with me. But then I've got a question for you today that I'm going to ask you that's come from me personally whilst we start this feature off. Okay. So first question I have for you is, what has trading taught you? And that's all I'm giving you. What has trading taught you?
Okay. So definitely, as we spoke, it made me more humble. It made me realize that nobody's bigger than the market. It made me forget my ego while I'm trading as well. Made me more adaptable, and definitely helped me handle failure better.
Love it.
Um,
Great answer.
and maybe, yeah, accept that failure is part of the growth and the success. I recently actually read a very nice line that it's always darkest before the sunrise. And I
Yeah.
always keep repeating this to myself. When I'm
Yeah.
down, when I blew the next challenge or whatever, this is what I always repeat to myself. Always darkest before the sunrise.
I love that. Love that. Great philosophy for life.
Yeah.
Um, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to start trading today? Somebody comes to you and they say, Vasil, I want to start trading Forex, or I want to start trading currency markets, or whatever it may be. What advice would you give them?
Okay. First, for me, it's really important for them to understand why. Why are they doing this to for themselves? And if the answer is money, I think that they're bound to fail. Uh, if money is your end goal, then I don't think you can be a successful trader. You must love the markets. You must love the thrill, the losses, the wins,
The
everything that
pain.
is going on in the
The
markets.
pain.
The pain, although sometimes it's yeah, a bit too much, but definitely. Then for sure you need to have a plan, but also accept that it might change with time. Also understand that it's a long process and it will test you. It will test everything that you've got. It's a really, really difficult thing. Don't believe the influencers, the YouTubers with the big letters, with shiny numbers of millions and whatever. It's a really long, hard, painful process, and it will really test your will. It make you doubt yourself. Also, that lifestyle and health is really important, and it's connected with trading. So you need to keep in good shape. That's what I think. You need to be in a nice mental state. Maybe practice some yoga or do something that relaxes you and puts you in the zone for trading. And finally, maybe take responsibility for your actions. It's for me really weak to blame the market for your mistakes or for your losses. Just at the end of the day, try to take accountability, be accountable in front of yourself and take responsibility. And here, maybe I can recommend a really good book that I discovered. I think you can find it for free as well as a PDF on the internet. It's called The Daily Trading Coach.
Okay.
It has some really good practices and lessons that for your everyday that can help you grow and develop.
Amazing. Thank you. And then my question for you is, What would you say currently is your biggest trading flaw? Now I'm going to give you mine. Okay, I'm going to give you mine first. I overtrade. I'm really bad at it. I see opportunities where there aren't opportunities. And luckily, my strategy is profitable enough that even when I'm overtrading, I often win, which is great. But my losses, when I take losses, often my wins will quite comfortably. Basically, I don't end up in as much profit as I should be in because I overtrade. That's my biggest flaw as a trader and the biggest thing I've got to work on. So for you, what's your biggest trading flaw? If you could click your fingers or wave a magic wand and change it right now, something that you know that you're doing, that you continue to do, that you know you shouldn't be doing, what is it and what would you change?
Funny because the same. It's really the same. I would have a really, really good day, let's say on a London session. Then I would be free in the afternoon for the US Open. And when I close the first trade, I would say to myself, okay, you're done for today. It's like 4%. No need to do whatever. And then I'm just curious to say, okay, I'll just have a small peek. I'll just
What if?
listen. And
What
then, yeah,
if? What if this
uh,
happens?
just self-discipline,
Yeah.
better self-discipline. And this is something that I really need to work on. And actually, there are tips for this in this book that I mentioned, the Daily Trading Code as well. So then you just need to leave, not be in front of the computer,
Yeah.
start thinking about something else, then come back to the same topic and rationally try to dissuade yourself. Go back to the level where you are when you close the profit, so
I
that
think some
you
of
don't
these
go in the market as well
some of
again.
these skills they really have to be earned rather than learned. Like there's so many things in trading. There's things that you shouldn't be doing, whether that's trading outside of your time frames, whether that's trading when your setup isn't there, whether that's over trading. I think there's a million and one different things that we all do wrong as traders that make us less profitable. Certainly at the stage that we are, where we're 3, 4, 5 years down the line. I think so many of these skills, however, they have to be earned in the same way that you earn maturity in time. If you've ever known somebody who acts older than they are, but then when push comes to shove in a difficult situation, they can't handle that difficult situation
Yeah.
because maturity has to be earned. You can't learn it. And I think we know that we need more discipline. I think what's really interesting for me and a good something I would implore any trader to do is to look back at anything that you have from a year or 2 years ago, whether that's a journal, emotional or trade based, it doesn't matter. But look, or I have on one of my old TradingView accounts, I have tips and setups that I used to put up on TradingView for other traders as a professional trader when I just had no clue. And going back and seeing those things is really interesting for me because I can be like, I was shit. I was a really, really terrible trader and I thought I was good. And so I think that's a really good exercise to do is to, if you've got any evidence of what you used to do, go back and
Yeah.
look at where you were 6 months, 12 months, 18 months and see how far you come and ask yourself those key questions. Am I more disciplined than I was then? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right path. And that really is all that matters. And I think discipline and things like that, I'm not too hard on myself because I'm like, do you know what? I'm better than I was 6 months ago. I'm better than I was 12 months ago. So I'm going to make it. I never forget. I had a big turning point with my own trading. I remember finding a video on YouTube, from I can't remember, some Forex trader, guy with a bald head, black background. You've probably seen him. I can't remember his name, embarrassingly. But the video was just
Is it the
entitled,
Danish guy? Danish guy?
I'm not sure.
Tall guy, very tall guy.
Cool guy, bald head. Yeah. And the video is just entitled Never Give Up. And I was like, well, that sounds interesting because I think I was probably having a bit of a low moment, blown another account. I remember click on it and he said, this is not an unattainable goal. This is not like becoming a professional NBA sports star or becoming a professional Premier League footballer. This is a skill that anybody and everybody can learn and anybody and everybody can develop. It just takes time and patience. Everybody can become a profitable trader. it just takes time, and you have to just trust the process. And one of the mantras that I have now is trust the process and the results will look after themselves. And I think that's so important to remember, is that everybody can do this. Everybody can achieve this. It's whether or not you have the guts and the gusto to make sure that you stick at it for long enough so that you become profitable and you get past those points of, no return, where you think it's all going to come crashing down, you failed at it, and you want to quit, when actually success might be just around the corner, or might be just a week away.
Exactly. And never compare your journey to anybody else's.
Oh, yeah, too right. So
everybody
important.
has a completely different journey. Somebody can do it in a year. Somebody might do it in 5, in 10. It's a really personal journey about self-mastery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, look, Vasil, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Really, really interesting conversation. Great to hear about you and how you trade. And I'll certainly be keeping in contact, and I'll look forward to seeing your journey. And you enjoy those payouts. You treat your partner, you treat your little one. And wish you all the best of luck for the future.
Thanks, mate.